video is about a very useful feature of Microsoft Word called Track Changes. Track Changes is available in various versions of Microsoft Word. However, the version that I am using right here is Word 2016 for Office 365. Track Changes is a feature that allows you to track the changes that you're making to a document and allows the owner of the document to grant approval to those changes before they become a part of the final draft. This is very useful when you're editing a document with multiple people, or in this case, you may be editing a document with students. In order to access Track Changes, you will click on the Review tab. And Track Changes appears right here, and if you hover your mouse over it, you will receive an explanation which is very similar to the one that I just gave you. In order to turn Track Changes on, you will click the icon right here, and it will turn gray, or you can click the down arrow right here and select Track Changes. So I'm going to turn on Track Changes. As an example for this video, I have the text of the Gettysburg Address. The text of the Gettysburg Address is somewhat disputed because Lincoln wrote a couple of different versions with slightly different wording, and the people who were there heard yet another version, but the speech was so quick that some of them were not able to write down exactly what they heard. So no one knows exactly what was said, and there are a few minor lines and changes that are disputed. So I'm going to use those examples as a way of showing you some things that Track Changes can do. Before I make any changes, I want to make sure that Track Changes is on, so I'm going to go back to that Review tab and I'm going to make sure that Track Changes are turned on, and then I'm going to make a couple of edits to the Gettysburg Address based on what people say they heard at the speech. So in this first line, brought forth on this continent, some people said they heard Lincoln say upon this continent, so I'm going to delete on and I'm going to put upon in its place. And notice that the on is now struck through and upon is in red and it is underlined, and I also have a bar over here that indicates a change has been made on that line. If I want to insert a comment so that I know that the person who has the final say in editing this document knows why I made this change, I can go back to the Review tab and I can also insert a comment. So I can type a new comment and I can just say some sources say this is what was said. If I could type, that would certainly make things easier. And then I can go on making other changes in the document. In the second paragraph, in this line, we are met. Some people said they heard Lincoln say we meet here. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to backspace that and I am going to type meet here instead. Notice the same thing happens. Our met is struck through, meet here is underlined. I have a bar over here. I can also insert a comment here by going to Review and going to New Comment, and I have the ability to again type whatever it is, and it's telling me who is making that changes. As the owner of this document, I have the ability to accept or reject these changes. So I can right click on any of these changes and I can choose to accept or reject, or I could also turn off Track Changes from this spot, or I could insert a new comment back to someone. So obviously right now I'm the only person editing this document. However, if you had a student create a document and share it with you, you could easily turn Track Changes on and give them suggestions about how to proofread or how to make some modifications to their document. And you also have the ability to lock a document into Track Changes. So if I go to Track Changes, there is the option to lock tracking. This prevents anyone who is sharing the document with me from turning off Track Changes. I simply put in a password, and if they want to turn off Track Changes, they have to enter that password. Obviously, if they don't know the password, they can't take the document out of the Track Changes mode. So any changes they make would be in Track Change mode. So this could be a great feature for you to use when you are collaborating with other teachers, or for students to share a document with you and for you to collaborate and give meaningful feedback to them so that they can continue editing their document in a way that is productive for them. I will also point out there is another way to insert a comment. Under the Review option, there is the ink comment, and you can type this in with your stylus. I will admit I've had some trouble doing this. It tends to bog the computer down, and I've had to do Control-Alt-Delete to the task manager to get out of that. So I can write my comment there fine, but then when I go back into the document, it sometimes struggles to do that, at least with the Atlas here at Greencastle Community Schools. So I would stick with the typed comments when you are commenting back to someone, and hopefully you will find a use for Track Changes. It is a great feature that has an infinite number of possibilities and ways that it can be used.